On this mission, we will learn how to do a cold start, taxi, and take off with a Saab Sk-60B, of Sweden's Air Force. The Sk-60 is a Swedish twin-turbofan training and light attack aircraft, developed in the 60s by Saab, first as a private venture and later under a production order from Sweden's Air Force. It was produced between 1963 and 1972, 192 being built. This mission includes the following sections. Before engine start, starting engines, before taxi, taxi, takeoff, and climb. This training series is set on the Caucasus map, taking advantage of a fictional joint training exercise between the air forces of Sweden and Russia. The training will end once you reach an altitude of 5,000 feet. The numbers that identify most of the steps correspond to the procedures of the real Sk-60, which can be seen on the aircraft's kneeboard. Press spacebar to begin. If the cockpit interior is too dark, activate the flashlight with left Alt plus L. If the yellow cross cursor is not visible, press left Alt plus left Shift plus C to show it. You can adjust the sound volume produced by the background air traffic by moving the in-cockpit sound slider on the DCS options audio screen, which you can access by pressing the escape key. This instructor's volume level can be adjusted with the helmet sound slider. Also, you can press spacebar to skip long voiceovers. Master switch set to on. This connects the aircraft's battery to its electric buses. You should hear the sound of the avionics and its cooling fans starting. Also, the DC-powered digital instruments are now operational. Converter 1, set to on. This connects the main DC-AC inverter to provide electric power to the AC-powered instruments, like the navigation GPS. As we are still with the engines off, operating on battery power alone, leave the backup inverter off for now. We will enable it later, after the engine's generators are operating. Master caution light, acknowledge and reset, by pressing its adjacent button. Flight controls, check. Move the flight controls and confirm for full travel on both flight stick and rudder. You can press F2, external view, to check the flight surface's movement. Altimeter, set to altitude 0, plus minus 2 hectopascals. Turn the baro knob, until the air pressure reads 995 hectopascals, which corresponds to 0 altitude above the ground at Anapa. Instruments lights, adjust as desired. Flood lights, adjust as desired. We will now contact the tower to request clearance to start the engines. The Sk-60 doesn't have the radio fully simulated yet, so we will be using DCS Easy Comms mode to contact ATC without having to tune its frequency. Press / to display the communications menu. OK, now select F5, Air Traffic Control, F1, Anapa, F3, Request Startup. Press spacebar once you hear the tower's answer. Press F12 to clear the communications menu.
Request startup. Enfield 1-1. Anapa, cleared for startup.
Anti-collision light switch, set to on, to alert the ground crew that the aircraft is about to start. Its switch has 3 positions, the center being off, up is bright, while down is dim. Left power lever, confirm it's on its shutdown position, fully aft. Left fuel pump switch, set to on, the fuel left warning light should go out. Left engine motor starter switch, set to on, the engine starter will begin to rotate the left engine. Once the engine reaches 12% and 2 RPM, click on the left power lever to advance it into idle. Monitor the ITT temperature, it should increase within 10 seconds, but should not exceed 1000 degrees Celsius. At about 40% and 2 RPM, the starter switch should automatically return to off. Oil pressure, check it is at least 140 kilopascals. ITT stabilizes, confirm it is not greater than 620 degrees Celsius. N2 RPM, check that it stabilizes between 47.7 and 51%, the left engine is now fully running. Next, we will proceed to start the right engine. Right power lever, confirm it's on its shutdown position, fully aft. Right fuel pump switch, set to on, the fuel right warning light should go out. Right engine motor starter switch, set to on, the engine starter will begin to rotate the right engine. Once the engine reaches 12% N2 RPM, click on the right power lever to advance it into idle. Monitor the ITT temperature, it should increase within 10 seconds, but should not exceed 1000 degrees Celsius. At about 40% N2 RPM, the starter switch should automatically return to off. Oil pressure, check it is at least 140 kilopascals. ITT stabilizes, confirm it is not greater than 620 degrees Celsius. N2 RPM, check that it stabilizes between 47.7 and 51%, the right engine is now fully running, both aircraft engines are now ready to taxi. Backup inverter switch, set to auto. Command the ground crew to remove the wheel chocks if they are placed. Nav switch, set to on, to enable the Garmin GNS430 navigation GPS and HSI display. Press the Enter button to acknowledge the unit's software license information, leaving it ready to use. We will cover its operation. Flaps. The flaps handle has 3 positions, retracted, takeoff, and landing. Set them to the takeoff position, by clicking on the handle, or using the keys, left Ctrl plus F, to extend the flaps to the next position, and left Shift plus F, to retract them to the prior position. EADI, check. This is an electronic attitude directional indicator. HSI, check. This is a horizontal situation indicator, which works in conjunction with the GPS navigation unit. Its RMI needle is green to denote that it is linked to GPS data, and it's now pointing towards our first waypoint. Navigation lights, set as required. The switch has 4 positions, center is off, left is bright, right is dim, and up is blink. Canopy, close and check its ceiling. The canopy warning light goes off. Cautions and warnings panel and master caution. Check there are no cautions or warning lights lit. We will now taxi to the runway, contact ATC for taxi clearance. Press / to display the communications menu. Select F1, request taxi to runway.
Anapa.
Please note that
Infield
ATC
1-1.
might take a
Request
while to
taxi to
answer
runway.
if there is other traffic on the taxiways. Just wait and eventually you will be given clearance.
Enfield 1-1.
Press spacebar once you hear the tower's answer. Take note of the runway assigned. For this mission the active runway should be runway 22, the diagram shows the taxi route you must follow. Taxi landing light switch, set to its taxi position. Enable the nose wheel steering, by pressing the S key toggle. You can confirm that the rudder pedals now command the nose wheel, by changing to the F2 external view. Next, increase throttle smoothly and release brakes. The aircraft should begin to move forward. Wheel brakes, check. Press the wheel brakes to stop the aircraft and check their operation. Good, the wheel brakes are working correctly. Release the brakes and begin the taxi again. Taxi straight, and upon reaching the taxiway, turn to the left and proceed to the end of the taxiway. You are going the wrong way, turn 180 degrees. Taxi on a 40-degree heading, towards the start of runway 22. You are now on the taxiway. Strive to keep the aircraft centered over the yellow taxi line. No speeding on the taxiway. Keep the speed to no more than 40 knots. No speeding on the taxiway. Keep the speed to no more than 40 knots. On the next intersection, turn the aircraft to the right, towards the start of runway 22. Stop the aircraft just short of runway 22. We will now contact ATC for takeoff permission. Press / to display the communications menu. Select F1, request takeoff.
Anapa.
Once the tower
Infield
grants
1-1,
permission, enter the
request
runway,
takeoff.
align with its centerline and stop there.
Enfield 1-1, Anapa, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.38. Enfield 1-1, unable to clear for takeoff. Enfield 1-1, Anapa,
Let's do a
you are
brief
cleared
check
for
before
takeoff when
taking
ready.
off.
Climb 300
Navigation
at
equipment,
QFE
check.
29.38.
Taxi landing lights, set to their landing position. Hold wheel brakes. Advance both throttles to 92% RPM. Check the following instruments. N2 RPM, no more than 96%. Interstage turbine temperatures, ITT, less than 755 degrees Celsius. Oil pressure, between 300 and 700 kilopascals. Oil temperature, less than 120 degrees Celsius. Release wheel brakes. After a short roll, increase throttle to maximum. Press the S key to disable nose wheel steering once over 40 knots. Maintain the aircraft on the center line, using rudder alone. At 100 knots, pull back on the flight stick to rotate attitude. Lift off. Adjust pitch trim to maintain climb attitude. Once airborne, retract the landing gear. Flaps, retract at 150 knots. Follow the flight plan shown on the GPS, use the highlighted buttons to zoom the map in and out. At the same time, climb to 5,000 feet. You have reached 5,000 feet. Congratulations, you have successfully completed this training mission. Press spacebar to exit the training.